Thanks for tuning into the 6Three podcast. My name is Joel, and my co-host today is Blake Timmer from, what is it, Blue House now?
Yeah, Blue House Properties and EXP.
All right, talk about it, buddy.
But yeah, it's a super exciting move for me. Gives me more visibility to build my own brand, build my business. So awesome group of people to work with, and now it's more my business versus being in a group that I'm kind of building their business inside of their name. So now it's more um, on me, which is a little more pressure, but also a good thing. So
So Amway is it, right? It's not a multi-level
that's
marketing.
it's really all businesses are that way, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can say
You really
that.
think about it, you're not wrong. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Well, congrats on the move, but obviously we've had you on before. You're our baseball expert, and we'll likely have you back on for our MLB preview because last time was a really fun show with you and Ben. Um, is not joining us because he is a new dad. So that is the reason he is not on. He just became a dad like a week and a half ago, so he's getting to know the life of no sleep. Um, it's scary. I mean, I took a month off of this show when I had mine. Um, so we want to do a World Baseball Classic preview, which has never been done on the 6Three podcast's 6 year existence. Um, Granted, I think that means there's only been one
yep.
WBC before that. That was in 2017 when that happened. Obviously, one was supposed to happen in 2021, but COVID put that to a halt. So here we are in 2023, where there are obviously four pools, 5 teams in each pool, and we are going to rank all 20 teams and talk about some of the best players on on their rosters, and then eventually get to the semifinals portion where we talk about our top 4 teams and our projected winner. So Blake, who is the 20th best team out of 20 teams in the WBC?
So my pick, bottom tier team, definitely not going to make it out of his pool. In a good pool, Pool D, is Israel. They got a couple pitchers that have been there, done a couple things. They've got Jack Peterson, help them a little bit, but other than that, they're going to struggle to put up runs and play against Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, all of how that squares off. So it's going to be a tough run for them. I know they have Ian Kinsler as their manager, so that's obviously being a Tigers guy, gotta love Ian Kinsler, but I think it's gonna be a rough go for him.
They've got other former Tigers on there, like Ryan Lavarnway, who I think was like our 5th catcher last year. I know Alex Dickerson has spent some time in the bigs. I was looking at Matt Mervis has a little bit, Garrett Stubbs, Danny Valencia. Um, other guys that come to my mind. Richard Blyer, he's a decent bullpen guy. And then Dean Kramer, who I think is one of the top 3 rotational guys for the Orioles. So I think those guys jump out. Obviously, I've heard about Zach Geloff, but yeah, it's not a very deep roster. Yeah, I had them at 18, but arguments definitely can be made for their bottom feeder. They're not going anywhere, so that's a fine pick. I think for me, I am gonna take. I've gone back and forth. That's why it's killing me. But I think I'm gonna go with the Czech. Next year, I mean their lineup is Eric Sogard, who already is like a 4A player, um, who wears glasses, and then it's a bunch of other dudes. I mean, their leadoff guy is probably Vashtek Mensik, and then their top rotational guy is Martin Schneider, but they are a bad team. I mean, even their coach I've never heard of is Pavel Shadim. Um, Joe Truesdale is actually a quality control guy there, and I know who that is. But it's not a deep roster. I'm trying to find some dudes that jump out to me. Um,
Well,
but
their closer, I got a note that he also works in real estate. So
is it Michael Kavala?
no, it is Markek Minarkic, if
Oh,
I'm
Mark
pronouncing that.
Monarch.
Mark, there you go. Thank you. If
Yeah,
I'm pronouncing that correctly. So that was a fun note that I found on there. So hey, little part-time baseball player, full-time realtor.
there. Yeah, captain is Peter Zima, and this list that I have shows him probably batting bottom 3, but I guess he's their captain. And so it looks like, yeah, he'll probably DH. Yeah, these bottom teams are pretty simply not going anywhere. I just don't see even double A talent on some of them. Like these guys, some of these guys aren't even would get invited to spring training. So that's just that's where I'm at on it.
Yeah, they packed their bags from their country and just came
This,
over. They didn't have to go to spring training and
I was
then,
I was also
go
going to
visit.
say this is their first time qualifying as well for the WBC. So
Well, congrats to them, first off, I guess, right?
yeah, that's why they have a team of real estate agents. This could be you, Blake. You could play for Team
I
Check.
know. Just gotta identify with another country, I guess.
You're a good bullpen guy for Trinity, right?
Yeah, there we go.
If you Twitter search Blake Timmer, there's a lot of Trinity baseball stuff that shows up. Blake Timmer's coming in the 7th inning to pitch. I got a
There you
lot of
go.
it. Yeah,
Got that famous hook. So
all over Twitter. It's a staple of yours. All right, who do you got here at 18?
I'm putting China in for 18. Just not a lot of guys that you've heard of or have made it real far. They got Ray Chang for their shortstop, and he's had some good numbers previously, but other than that, there's not a ton of guys that are going to be like, wow, okay, that's really going to be a great pitcher and great position player for him. So, um,
There's a
yeah,
lot of Chen Chens. In fact,
yeah,
there is a Chen Chen playing third, a Chen Chen playing catcher, and then there is a Chen Chen Luan, who is one of their outfielders. So it's yeah. I mean, and then Alan Carter, like we talked about. So it's
yeah,
just like
exactly.
maybe he's Blasian, I guess. I don't know. It's fun saying some of these names, right? Ji Chao, Chao Han, Yang Kang Hu, Ning Li, Yifan Li, Pei Liang, Rangji Liang. Yeah, that's fun. This is fun for me. I'm just gonna go through the whole roster right now and entertain myself. Um, it's not a good roster though. I mean, there's not MLB talent that I see. I think Alan Carter has been scouted by the Angels, and like you talked about Ray Chang, he's gotten some looks, but
Yeah.
it's not a deep roster, and so this is a very good bottom 3. I think this is exactly how it's going to pan out. Um, who will I take next here though is another question. Um, yeah, give me Great Britain.
Okay.
Um, it's Harry Ford can rake. There's a lot of talk about how he's known for deep balls. Lucius Fox is a shortstop, I think, in AAA in the bigs right now.
Lucius
Probably had
Fox,
some time. Is he?
you know, uh, it's a Batman name, but
Just Fox?
yeah, that's the guy that did all the crazy vehicles and all that fun stuff for Batman. So
I gotta get reacquainted with my Batman.
for sure,
Um,
for sure, Lucius. I don't know.
I mean, Lucius does sound like a villainous name, probably. So is he a villain?
No, he's the guy that has all the fun armor and equipment and everything that Batman uses when he's putting together all of his contraptions to go
Like
fly
his
around.
butler?
No, the guy in the research facility, the R&D, that guy. Crap, Samuel
Google him
Jackson.
now. We're gonna go off the rails here. I'm googling him.
Okay. Oh, I believe it was Samuel Jackson.
It is Lucius Fox. Wow.
Okay.
Morgan
All right.
Freeman played his character. All
Morgan
right.
Freeman. Oh, sorry.
All right. Good call. Yeah. Well, he's also a AAA high shortstop, and I think he's in the Mariners organization. I think he had a little bit of time with the Mariners last year.
Yeah, I've seen
Um,
him. I don't be the show a couple times.
yeah, me too. But Trace Thompson's also on this roster. Clay Thompson's brother, former Tiger, who decided to go off and play really well with the Dodgers, who were one of the best teams in baseball there. Um, they also had couple other names that jumped out to me. Was Graham Spraker, Ian Gibalt. But again, these guys are all Vance Worley. I kind of forgot about Vance Worley, but yeah, he's still in.
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty I've seen a lot of these guys with like a 63 overall or less in MLB The Show when they are in it. So um, I think Ian Gabout was a 54 from my memory. So yeah, I'm gonna put Great Britain here at 17.
All right. Well, coming in at 16 for me is Chinese Taipei. Um, again, not a ton of guys that'll stick out to you and be like, oh yeah, that guy. They've got a professional. Their MVP from last year was Lee Lin, according to what I found, and they had another guy of Kung Kang who led the home runs for the Chinese league. But other than that, there's not much that has perspired MLB wise. I think they've had a couple guys get AAA looks, but nothing crazy there. So
Historically, they don't finish very high in their previous four. In 2006, they were 12. 2009, they were 14. 2013 was their highest at 8, and then 2017 they were 14th. Um, they don't they don't have a very good roster. Their captain is Wang Wei Chen, and then their catcher has the longest name on the whole roster without any hyphens. It's Gilj Jeg Giljaw Kongakwan. And that was not me having a stroke, by the way. You don't have to call anyone. So uh looks like a cool uniform. I like their hats. I know maybe you can't see this, but it's cool. I like their hats. I'm gonna show you their hats if it'll catch it.
oh, there we go.
No, no,
Yeah,
you can't.
you got a
Come on,
got a little
stop
bit of
blurring.
jersey.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a little bit. Hold it back just a hair, and you get a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got to look.
that's bad. I gotta turn off my blur. That's what it was. Sorry, I just don't want you to see my plaques behind me.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, Taiwan, that's a good one. I am gonna I'll take Australia next year. Um, and yeah, again, former Tiger Warwick Soaphold is probably their top two guy in a rotation, which that's pretty sad because Warwick Soaphold was not very good for the Tigers. Um, their captains are Tim Atherton and Tim Kennelly. They do have Robbie Glendenning, Aaron Whitefield, Whitecap Ulrich Boyarski on the roster, but it's a it's they have their bullpen coach is former pitcher Graham Lloyd. I remember Graham Lloyd. Yeah, Ryan Battaglia is their catcher, probably with Alex Hall, and then nothing else to really write home about. Yeah, I don't see another name that's like jumping out at me to talk about. So yeah, it's not a good roster. Again, their history is 13th, 12th, 16th, and 9th. So towards the bottom, typically as well. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I think like we said, these bottom five teams, it's they're not going to make it out of their pool. They don't have a lot of guys that have made it to the big leagues, and so they're hopefully happy they made it there, and hopefully they have some fun in pool play. But I don't see them getting out of it. But there could be a Cinderella story out there.
I'd be shocked if any of these guys are Cinderella stories. It's not been great so far, but there's like other teams like Colombia when we get there. I don't know where you have them ranked at, but they're, even Panama, uh, maybe they do. Netherlands, I feel like are a little bit of a sleeper. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I feel like the top six to eight are pretty established.
Yeah. So my next one for 14, I believe we're on. I've got Nicaragua
Yep,
down
that's my
here.
next one. Yep.
Again, they're in a tough pool with Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, and obviously the bottom team I had was Israel. So, they might have a little fun against Israel, but from there, they don't have a ton of guys that are going to be, they got a little bit of pitching.
They got
Erasmo
Jonathan
Ramirez.
Loaizaga, right?
I didn't see that name come up, but I may have missed that one.
Erasmo
So,
Ramirez, former Tiger.
yes. Yeah. So that's obviously a big name. Carlos Rodriguez, prospect with the Brewers. So
I wonder if Junior Tellez is related to Rowdy.
I love that name, Rowdy. You
Yeah,
can't.
Rowdy Tellez. It's one of the better names in baseball. They do have Chesler Cuthbert. You remember him playing with him with the Royals? Chesler
Yeah.
Cuthbert. He spent a
Yep.
lot of time with Omaha Royals or AAA team, but he kind of came up
Uh,
every once in a while.
think of another Royal with a great name, Rusty Kuntz. He was
Steve Hunt's classic. Yep.
got.
Wasn't he third base coach for a minute there too?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, so the lineup looks even worse. They do have a couple pitchers though that might keep them in some games. I'm not impressed with the lineup at all. So this is a good spot for him too. I had Nicaragua as my next one as well. Uh, so the tough task for me is deciding who I'm going to put next. But I think I'm leaning towards Panama here. So I'm going to go with Panama actually. They've got uh, Jonathan Arauz, who I think is with the Indians, right? And then they've got Christian Bethencourt, um, Ivan Herrera, and then that's probably the better of Ruben Tejada. I mean, that's probably their best hitters. And then you got their rotation is going to probably start with Jaime Barria, and then they've got
Yep.
Humberto Mejia. And then their closer is going to be likely Javi Guerra. Um, got listed Matt Hardy. So Matt Hardy's on this, a nice white name to play for Panama. Um, and then I feel like there was one other name that jumped out to me. Paulo Espino. He's pitched. I think he's currently on a big league roster as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel like there's another pitcher that's just not jumping out. And I'm looking at the roster here. So I'm gonna stick with that. Luis Ramos. I think that's the best that's coming off Panama. So yeah. And they weren't in 2013 or 2017, so they took a little break. This is their first one since 2009. And in 2009 they finished 15th. So yeah.
Yeah. I had them next as well. So it's good. Good pick there. And then we're going to 12. So at 12, I had Italy. May not be real popular to put them at 12, but I think, like we said, the top 6 to 8 teams are going to be the dominant ones to get out of their pool and go there. I think the biggest thing for Italy they have going for them is they have the legend and Hall of Famer Mike Piazza.
Yep. Yep.
That's their manager, so that's a big.
Have you seen him recently? He looked good. I was watching that they were in that what's that military show where they all like a
Oh
bunch of
yeah,
celebrities.
yep,
He was on there and he was fun to watch. He was actually like one of the more level-headed guys. So yeah, I'm
interesting.
sure
I
was it
don't think.
special forces? Special forces. That's
Yeah,
what
I don't think you would say that watching him play baseball. That he was very level-headed, but
no. I mean, he's a catcher. You can't be level-headed. That's not allowed.
no, no. So I think there, you got a couple guys that you got Nicky Lopez. Obviously, he's been around. You got Vinny, the Italian Nightmare.
The
Um,
Tiger Killer, man. He's a Tiger
yeah.
Killer.
So, these names ring a bell a little bit. Um, David Fletcher, Matt Harvey apparently is going to try to make an appearance.
And Andre Palante, I think, is with the Cardinals.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Um,
Matt Festa is a good bullpen guy, I think, for them. But this is actually, I think this is kind of like right in the territory where we're starting to see more AAA MLB talent. Like this is
yep.
kind of like the cut line into that level. So I think Italy's the perfect middle ground team because, yeah, I've heard of Sal Frelick, I've heard of David Fletcher, I've heard of Vinny Pasquantino, I've heard of Nicky Lopez, Miles Mastrobroni, Ben DeLugio, Dominic Fletcher. Like they've got a lot of guys that we've heard of as baseball fans. Um, yeah, pitching is going to be a little bit of a struggle for them. I think outside of Matt Harvey and Palante and Festa, they're struggling a little bit. But it is fun to note that 29 players on this entire roster of that would make what about 36 players they have on the roster? I think maybe 40 players on this roster, and 29 of them are USA born. So they're digging deep to find some dudes, but here they are, and they have not missed a single WBC since 2006. So they're back. In fact, they finished even as high as 7th in 2013. So they're always a middle ground team.
Yeah,
Looks like
I
10, 10,
believe
7, 12.
Anthony Rizzo played for the 2017
Zil
WBC.
Fitz, that's an Italian name. I'll accept it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good pick. So I've got to decide here because, like I said, we're going into another level of talent now with
yeah.
Italy
Now it's
kind of
kind of
opening the gates up a little bit. Italy kind of is that
yep.
walk into. So
What teams are going to make it out of the pool? You know, we've kind of these ones are pretty much shoe-ins. I think the ones
yeah, I think the ones
below
we've
that we've
listed
listed.
already. I think the ones we've listed already, outside of Italy, might make a surprise, but
Yeah,
I think all of them, all these other ones, I think are almost guaranteed eliminations. And I venture to put money on some of it, but um, where would I go next? I'm kind of deciding between two, and I hate to go with the team up north here, but I just think the other team I'm thinking of, I think, is a better sleeper. So I am going to go with Canada here, um, as the team up north I was referring to. But again, they've got Freddie Freeman, one of the best players in baseball right now, along with Bo Naylor, Tyler O'Neill, former Tiger Jacob Robson, right? And then we've got Abraham Toro. Um, let's see what other in the pitching. We remember John Axford and his mustache.
well, you
Matt
got Cal
Brash.
Quantrill, you know, for
Yep,
the
That's a big one. Cal
the
Quantrill.
Guardians. That guy, you watch him pitch, my gosh.
He's good. Yeah, and even Nick Pivetta, Matt
Yep.
Brash. Um, those guys are all really solid. Uh, I think Otto Lopez has played a little bit of big league stuff too, but for the most part, the fact is, Jacob Robeson might end up be starting offensively for them, and he's been maybe a high 3A guy. So,
Did we mention Tyler O'Neill?
yeah, I think he's the second best player on their lineup behind Freddie Freeman, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's maybe the top half of their lineup is really solid. And they've got maybe four good arms, but I think that's kind of where I feel they don't quite squeeze in over the other team I was thinking of.
Yeah. I think I know the other team you're thinking of. I'm gonna pick them
Yeah,
next. Um, I believe you were thinking of Korea, but I may be wrong.
it's actually not Korea. I do have Korea up a couple yet, but
Okay.
yeah,
All
you'll let
right.
me pick them again. I'll pick my next team next. That's cool.
All right. That's fine. So yeah, I think you're gonna have good defense. Got
Especially the
Tommy
middle
Edman.
infield, man. The middle infield. Is it
Yeah.
Haseon Kim and who's the other guy playing second?
Tommy Edman.
Tommy Edmond. Duh. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really good
Yep.
middle infield.
So I think yeah, you're gonna have good defense out of them. I think they're gonna be a good contact team. Um, I feel like a lot of our Asian pitchers have a lot more deception than American pitchers.
Yes.
So, you know, their pitchers may get a little bit further just because of the deception and they may hit the ball around the park a little bit, but I don't think they're gonna have as much power as, you know, say a Team USA or Dominican or Puerto Rico or anybody there. But um, yeah, I think they'll be a good team, but they're not gonna be in the they're rounding out the top 10. So
I mean, the last couple, I think in 2006, they finished with a bronze. 2009, they had silver, and then they fell to ninth and 10th in the following 2013 and 2017. So, again, a top half team typically. Uh, their best pitcher I think currently also is a potential rotational guy in the bigs. That's Kim Kwang Hyun. And then I think their captain is Kim Hyun Soo. But yeah, I think like we talked about, they've got a really strong middle infield that I like a lot. Um, it's a shame that Ji-man Choi is no longer available because it'd be a great option for them, and especially outfield wise.
yeah,
See what else I got. Yep, none of the other ones are really jumping out to me. Maybe they keep them out there a little while. But let me find my next team here. Next team is Colombia, was the one I was thinking of.
okay,
And to me, they are a borderline sleeper. They could come out and surprise a couple. Um, they've got Jorge Alfaro, Elias Diaz, Oscar Mercado, Harold Ramirez, who definitely looked like he could come out. He swings very hard. They got Donovan Solano, Gio Urshela and Mabrice Valoria as their best hitters. Um, some of the pitchers that jump out to me would be on the Nabil Chrismat, William Cuevas, and then they've got Jose Quintana,
Yep.
River San Martin, who I think is the Reds, and then they got former Tiger Julio Teheran. Remember that first start, and then hurt for the rest of the year. Love that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, those are some of the big, and Jan Romero. I don't want to forget about Jan Romero, but yeah, there's again a good probably half of the arms in there are borderline MLB guys, and then a good chunk, 5 or 6 of their lineup is quality hitters. So they've got a decent team as well.
Yeah, I think that'll be an interesting one. So I get number 8. I think number 8, I'm picking them mostly because I don't feel like they have the pitching to make it real far, and they have a couple gambles that I think they're throwing in there. Cuba.
Oh yeah.
I am happy to see that Yoenis Cespedes is going to try to play. I think that's
Went from
exciting.
superstar to star to rogue, basically.
Falling off a horse,
Yeah. Yeah.
literally. So
Yeah.
we'll see. You've got Andy Ibanez, big
Mhm.
Tigers prospect.
I like him at second base. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good one. But yeah, you've got Yohan Moncada, Luis Robert, obviously, some of the staples. I didn't see either of the Gurriel brothers I don't think either of them are playing for them.
Sure. But yeah, I mean they've got some fun names too. Like I was looking at Arizbel, Aru and Barrena and Roel Santos, and then Roenzi Elias, and then Alfredo Despaigne. So those are some of the funner names in the world. And then they've got Ronald Bolaños, who I think has also played a little bit in the big leagues. But coaching wise, I don't think any of those coaches. I was looking at their coaching list too, and I was like, I don't remember any of them in the big leagues either. So they do have a pretty strong history, though. The last several, 2017, they finished 7th. 2013, they were 5th. In 2009, they were 6th. And then they finished with a silver in 2006. So they've had some decent teams. And again, this is kind of right where we're expecting to finish. So that's a good one. Right there with Cuba. Who will be my next one? I suppose. All right, I'll take the Netherlands here. I think that's got to be my next one.
Okay.
Really, I like the roster though. I just think they're also hurting a little bit in the arms department. They got Jurickson Profar and Jonathan Scope, Didi Gregorius, Xander Bogarts, uh, Vladimir Valentine, Chadwick Tromp, Andrelton Simmons. I'm right now alone. I'm just listing a bunch of quality MLB guys. Some of these,
Don't forget about Jonathan Scope.
I said him third.
Oh, okay.
I did. I got you.
I thought you missed it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
he hasn't looked good in spring training, but he'll be there.
Yeah, he is. Hopefully, he doesn't follow up what he did last year. That's all I'm asking. Roger Bernardina, Josh Palacios. I think both Palacio brothers are actually in this game. One of my favorite names in the entire WBC is on this roster, and that's Siknar Falupstock. He's one of their catchers. Yeah, so we talked about, Josh Palacios and Richie Palacios are both in this game. But the pitching is not good. Lars Heiser is probably their top pitcher. Jair Jurgens. Jair Jurgens and Kenley Jansen are there.
Yeah, Kenley. Remember, Kenley used to play. He was a catcher, and he played in the WBC as a catcher years ago.
They should let him be catcher again because outside of Chadwick Tromp, I'm not too certain on him. They do have Pedro Strop. Okay, so I take that back. Their starters are terrible, but they've got like 3 or 4 really solid bullpen arms.
Which is big because most teams aren't going to let their starters go that long if they actually have a shot at being good on an MLB team. Because I believe the general managers for the MLB teams would kind of lay out some rules for these coaches and
Yeah.
say, hey, Mark DeRosa, we're not going to see this guy going longer than, 50 pitches here. I don't think we'll see a Marcus Stroman type lengthening out like we did in
140
2017.
inning
But
pitches in a game. Yeah. And Netherlands actually have been really good. They've finished fourth 2 times in a row in the WBC. So they're a top half team. I do think it's worth noting that 22 of their 38 players are from Curacao or Aruba. So only 10 from the Netherlands, actually.
well, do you know how many different places it makes up their team?
I have 6.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's very interesting,
Yeah.
because
So
the Netherlands and Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao are not close. They're not, it's not like they're right next to each other. One's in the Caribbean and one's obviously in Europe. So,
yeah. So who do you have here at 6 that's just missing out on the top 5s?
yeah, 6. Um, I think I'm gonna go with Venezuela.
Okay.
Even though Miggy's making his debut there, and he's played with them before, but he's trying to go out
He
on a
ain't as
high
good as he
note.
once was, man. I'm telling you.
So that's a little disappointing there that I would put him there, but um, so you got Ronald Acuna Jr., you got Jose Altuve,
I hope
Salvador
to see a
Perez.
lot of bat flips from Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have a lot of fun. I think they've got a couple arms that'll be good to help too. But yeah, we're getting into the top tier here, so I think they're just going to be on the outside looking in to make the semifinals there. But you never
Yeah,
know.
that
I
that
know
lineup does it looks that lineup looks really good. I mean, I'm
I
looking at
know I know
everyone here.
Erod definitely hasn't been the Tiger we were looking for. So um, maybe just a little sour, and that's why they found their place to 6. But
Boy, had a boy. I mean, they've got other guys here. Darwinzon Hernandez, Eliezer Hernandez, Pablo Lopez. Um, they've got Martin Perez, Jose Ruiz, Ranger Suarez, Jose
yeah, Ranger
Alvarado,
Suarez definitely.
Yolis Chassin, Jonathan Diaz, Edwin Escobar, um, and Luis Garcia with Carlos Hernandez. Yeah. So the position players, though, every one of them is a familiar name to me. Every single one of them I'm looking at. I mean, Eugenio Suarez, former
Yeah,
Tiger there.
would have been
So
nice to keep him around, right?
it would have. Yeah, it's crazy. Every one of those guys is in the lineup. Even I think their worst lineup players are Luis Rengifo. So it's maybe Andres Jimenez was good last year. So they've
You
got a good
didn't
roster. They've got a good
didn't
roster.
see either of the catching brothers. I'm going to draw a blank here real quick. William
Amos,
Contreras and neither
Wilson and William. Yeah.
yeah, William, and they don't want to catch, I guess. I know it's hard to back up Salvador, but
Yeah, I mean they'd be buried. One of them would have to DH probably. I would
well,
DH Salvador though. Oh no,
yeah,
Salvador's got Gold Gloves too, but he's older, right?
I know. I think
Yeah,
I would
it's
let
tough.
William obviously be the third catcher, but
Yeah,
come on, Wilson, he's a good catcher and decent bat. Might as
it's
well.
it's an ego shot when you can't start over Salvador Perez. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's he's definitely an Iron Man back there. So, and he kills the Tigers. So,
Yeah, those guys. I'm gonna put Mexico next, and I kind of my right here my spot was kind of Venezuela, Mexico. I wasn't sure either one of those could have been 5 or 6. Um, So yeah, Mexico. I mean, they've got Randy Arozarena, Alex Verdugo, Joey Meneses, Rowdy Tellez is on this one, DHing. Isaac Paredes is on this one. Alan
still
Trejo.
sour.
Yep. I mean, yeah, we gave our guy vertigo, so something's off. Luis Urias, Austin Barnes, definitely not a Mexican name, but Austin Barnes is going to catch. Alec Thomas for the Twins, and then they've got a really nice rotation. Definitely made me even consider moving them up one more. Julio Urias, Patrick Sandoval, Taijuan Walker, Jose Urquidy. Their closers Giovanni Gallegos. We've got Oliver Perez in the bullpen, Jojo Romero, Luis Sessa. So, um, yeah, Adrian Martinez. So they've got really good players here. But it looks like Austin Barnes is actually the only catcher on the roster. So it'll be fun. Benji Gill is their manager. Remember Benji Gill? I remember Benji Gill. Yeah.
That doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, it's been a while. I don't know how long he played, but I do remember that name. Yeah, they have not had recent success in the WBC, but I think this roster is probably one of the better rosters they've put together in a while. Last one they were 13th, so hopefully they can get back on track to their earlier years in 2006 when they were sixth.
Alrighty, so I get to pick number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going with the Dominican Republic.
It's a hot take. A lot of people have them won, man. A lot of people.
I know they have a couple decent pitchers. They don't have, I don't know, I don't think they have a ton of back end firepower from what, they got Sandy Alcantara, that'll be good. Christian Javier, um, Rausny
I mean, the
Contreras.
lineup is the big thing to focus on for them. The lineup
Yeah,
is just they can
but
put up tons of runs.
yeah, but I don't. Great, you can put up tons of runs, but it's going to be who can pitch like usual in any playoffs. It's who can throw some pitchers out there, and obviously, yeah, they have Vlad Guerrero, they have Julio Rodriguez, they have Manny Machado, they have Nelson Cruz. They've got just a ton of guys. Rafael Devers, like Eloy, like Juan Soto. You name them all, like yeah, they're amazing. But you got to have guys that are gonna hold the door closed too.
I like that hot take, man. I've been looking at a lot of articles and they've been unanimously like 1 or 2, and lowest I've seen them at 3. So putting them at 4, that's bold. I like it. I like bold on the 6'3" podcast. Yeah, good pick. Okay. Hmm. Um, give me Puerto Rico next. Yeah, Javi Baez. Love that guy. Love him.
They
Martin
don't have.
Maldonado, Francisco Lindor, and Kike Hernandez, MJ Melendez, who had a nice year last year with the Royals, Jose Miranda, Eddie Rosario. Uh, then we got Christian Velasquez, Edwin Diaz. Let's see who else jumps out to me here. Pitching, Jose Barrios, obviously, Alex Claudio, Edwin Diaz for the Mets. One of the better walkout songs in baseball, right? And then Pudge's son, Derek Rodriguez, former Tiger.
Okay.
Pudge and Derek are actually both former Tigers. Then they got Marcus Stroman, Dwayne Underwood Jr., Emilio Pagan, Yvonne Moran. So yeah, and Jonathan Bermudez. So they've got pretty Hector Santiago. Yep. So they've got a good lineup, but
And
I think
no
yeah,
Carlos Correa.
no Carlos Correa because
So
I think his
that's
wife was giving birth pretty too close to.
I think he got the contract and they kind of put that clause in there saying, hey, we don't know how long this ankle's gonna last, let's not push it. Let's keep you at spring
Let's
training and take
blame
it
it on the
easy.
wife's pregnancy.
Yeah, let's find a family matter that you need to attend
Mhm.
to.
Just not as long as Erod attends to a family matter.
Yeah. Because the last WBC having Correa, Baez, and Lindor, that just that's wild, I think.
You're right. You're right. Man, so you got to pick 2 here. How are you going to do that?
I know. I think 1 and 2 are obviously we know who they are. Um, I got to go that I got to leave it for the top for USA to repeat. So I'm gonna go with Japan at 2,
Okay.
going against the second coming of Babe Ruth. But Obviously they have Shohei, they've got Yu Darvish, um, a bunch of great guys that are gonna, be deceptive in pitching, similar to Korea. And obviously they know how to put the bat on the ball, and we know Shohei can do it all. So maybe they'll just clone Shohei and just put him out there 9 or 10 times and call it a day. But they got Lars Nootbaar, who I know is one of your favorites.
You guys you guys were like, who is that? And then last year's baseball preview, and I'm like, dude, he's legit. He's legit. He's too legit to quit.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll do big things, and then his name will be all over.
He is. They are. What are they? Minus Seiya Suzuki. So
Yes,
that's
that's
a
big
little
no.
bit of a hit offensively for them, but you know, still have Kenshu Kondo, um, Murakami is there, uh, Yamakawa, Masataka Ishida is also really, I hear really good things about him. Yu Darvish, yeah, Shohei, Roki Sasaki. There's a lot of people that are bragging him up. Let me see if I can find that. Um, I saw something. I was reading an article on him. The guys to look at for the Japanese squad are Roki Sasaki and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Sasaki pitched a perfect game at only 20 years old, came back the next start and nearly did it again. His career ERA is just about 2, and he's only 21. And then Yamamoto has a career ERA of 1.95 in the NPB, and he's going into his 7th season at only age 24. So guys
I
that are
think
having a lot of success, they're pitching um, to go along with Darvish and Shohei.
I think
So
that's another thing to note, though, is even say the USA and Japan face off for the trophy. Um, none of these USA guys have hardly seen any of. Some of them have seen Shohei and Yu Darvish and this
Darvish,
and
yeah,
that, but these other guys, like, they have no clue. They go against a Puerto Rico or a Dominican Republic, like they've probably seen some of those arms. So it'll be pretty interesting.
I'm trying to look at the way this is kind of shaping out for the pools right now, but um, let's see. So Venezuela is going to be out because Puerto Rico and Dominican are in, according to this list, right? I mean,
Yep.
and then Netherlands is in Pool A, and they get in as the best team. The Netherlands are first in Pool A, so that looks like the weak sauce of all the pools. Okay, all right. So there's that. Cuba is also in that pool, and we rank them right behind the Netherlands. So Netherlands and Cuba are getting in Pool A. Pool B, you get Japan and Korea. Wow, Korea's going to get in on basically that's a
I,
deal.
they got a nice pool.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Pool A is pretty weak at the top, and then Pool B obviously is Japan, and then scrubs. I don't want to call Korea scrubs. They've got some guys. A fun
Yeah.
infield like we talked about. Pool C is going to be USA and Mexico getting in over Colombia, and then Pool D is Dominican and Puerto Rico. And
See, I think
yeah,
that's the hottest pool. That's the hottest pool to me. You got three
yeah.
powerhouses there.
So those are the 8 teams that are moving on right now. And according to our list, Korea was ranked the lowest with Cuba and the Netherlands, and then the top 5 is established there. But let's talk about Team USA here. Because managed by Mark DeRosa, loaded with a bunch of other solid bench coaches like Jerry Manuel, Brian McCann. Ken Griffey Jr. is the hitting coach. Andy Pettit is the pitching coach. Maybe help juice him up a little bit before the game if you can. Lou Collier, Dino Ebel, and Dave Righetti out of the bullpen. Mike Trout will be the captain for this team, but USA hasn't seen a position lower than 8th since 2006, and that's when they were 8th. So if you go to 2009, they haven't been lower than 6th. Lineup loaded with Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Kyle Tucker, Pete Alonso, JT Realmuto, Jeff McNeil. Um, and then, obviously Tim Anderson is also there to play. Kyle Higashioka, Will Smith, Bobby Witt Jr., Cedric Mullins, Kyle Schwarber, a bunch of guys they can throw out there, even as like a Kyle Schwarber is like going to be a perfect matchup for like a righty, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so pitching is where it's a little concerning. They get Adam Wainwright, Brady Singer, Miles Mikolas, Merrill Kelly from the Diamondbacks. Their closer's probably Ryan Presley, if I had to pick one that I like the most. Devin Williams, though, fantastic setup man, one of the best bullpen arms in baseball. Lance Lynn is also there if they need a quick spot starter. But then after that, you're getting Daniel Bard from the Rockies, Bednar from the Pirates. Kendall Graveman's not bad. Nick Martinez is there. Adam Ottavino, Brooks Raley. So it's a good lineup because we see all these guys in baseball. But I think pitching is going to be the only downfall of them. Is how deep are those arms willing to go? I think Wainwright's going out this year anyway. So this is finish strong, right, buddy? Like give it everything.
Him and Miggy.
Yeah, this is it. So just have fun with it. Give it your all. I think they can afford to push Wainwright a little bit. But yeah, and then you get to see the younger pitchers like Brady Singer maybe try to be, a future star for Team USA in future seasons. So this is a very good team. I actually had USA number 2, and I had the Dominican winning on my list. But I've tried to avoid, the bias and all these other articles. I just look at the Dominicans, roster, and pitching could use some work, obviously, but if they score 10 runs a game, what are you going to do? I mean, I still think Sandy Alcantara is a really good arm for them. Christian Javier's done it for a while. We didn't really talk a bunch about their arms, but with Alcantara and Javier and Luis Garcia and Johnny Cueto is there. They get Gregory Soto. I think that's going to be their savior.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him in the back end.
Yeah, Brian Abreu.
Doesn't really know where the ball's going though.
Yeah, I mean it's a 50-50, but Brian Abreu, Roansy Contreras, Yarlin Garcia, Camilo Duvall, Yoel Piamps from the Royals, Hector Neris, Cesar Valdez, Yimi Garcia. So yeah, it's to me bullpen definitely not as good as what US has going on, but Alcantara and Javier have been proven really good MLB arms for a long time. If they get the right side of Gregory Soto, it could be lights out in the night, right? So
it's either ball 4 out of the park or he's lights out and 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Or like load the bases and then get out of it. Like give you high blood pressure. I feel like the Tigers have been loaded with bullpen guys like Todd Jones, Rodney, Papa Grande. All those guys did it for years. They like the blood pressure way the bleep up there, and then they stop it. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, I think big things to note for Team USA with Nestor Cortez suffering a hamstring injury, and Clayton Kershaw is not able to go either. Those are huge blows for the pitching staff there.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard who they're going to sub in for him. I'd love to see a big name say, "Hey, I got the okay for my team. I want to go play for my team, my country. Come on."
Go give him Matt Boyd. Michael Fulmer and Matt Boyd. Bring him back.
I don't know. Fulmer didn't look good at the end of the year. Boyd's just coming back.
Because he went to the Twins. He wasn't where he loved to be.
I know. I guess it's not wrong, but I think a hot take we need to discuss too is Marcus Stroman going from being a WBC hero for Team USA to jumping to Puerto Rico this year. Definitely
not the first time it's been done. There are quite a few players that have jumped ship from their teams and decided to go play somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't know if they had as big of an impact before they did that.
Yeah, Stroman was amazing, but
yeah, so
he wants to be the first player to go win with another roster.
I think that's what he's trying to say is, hey, I helped USA win last time, so now I'm going to go help Puerto Rico win, and then everybody can say, look at me.
It just feels very Benedict Arnoldy. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Yeah, I would just be like, you know what? I'm gonna go play for the same team, and we're gonna go win again, and they'll remember me then too.
They let pitchers hit. He's getting beamed. So I'll go through this bracket here. I guess this one that I sent you also kind of explains kind of how it's going to line up quite nicely. Um, but the first quarterfinal game one is, you know, Pool B runner up and Pool A winner. And Pool A winner was the Netherlands, and they will be playing Pool B runner up, which was Korea. So we get Netherlands and Korea first. And that's
I
actually a
guess
really good
that's a,
matchup.
I think that's an easy pick for me, but I'm going
Nether,
Netherlands.
yeah, I'm picking Netherlands too. Korea's got some dudes. You never know with
Yeah,
Korea.
yeah. I don't think
Um,
you never know, but you've got a lot of big names for
so okay, yeah,
Team
we'll take
Netherlands.
Netherlands there. And the second game is the Pool A runner-up, which is Cuba, taking on the Pool B winner, which is Japan. And I feel like, yeah, sorry, Cuba.
Yeah, Japan's gonna walk all over you.
Yeah. So then that would take us to what, Japan versus the Netherlands, right?
Yep.
And I think we're taking Japan in that one too.
Well, and it's in Japan. Note
Yeah,
that.
right. Home field advantage. Yeah. So that's a big one. Quarterfinals two here is the Pool C runner up, which is Mexico. Um, and they'll play the Pool D winner, which is we have here in ours Puerto Rico.
That's
So
easy,
and
easy call too.
Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah.
And then Pool D runner up is Dominican, and they will be taking on the Pool C winner, which is the USA. So
That's gonna
what a
be fun.
matchup right off the bat.
In Miami,
Oh
you're
man,
gonna have to prove it.
that one just played out real nicely. Now I kind of hope that Dominican wins because I think Dominican's more of a threat than Puerto Rico is to the US. But maybe not. Yeah, I mean USA. Let's go with USA, right? Let's move them on.
Well, we got it. We have him at number one. We can't.
And we did. I mean, you had him at number one. I had to put number one.
I
Don't let me
forced you
away
to
you.
take him. I
Don't let me
forced you
away
to
you.
take him.
And then so from there, pool. Who do we have in there? The Pool C winner. We picked We'll see runner up Mexico and Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico is going to take on the U.S. next, right? So USA over Puerto Rico, and then that takes them. Um, that takes them to what? Is that the championship then?
Yeah, I think it would be Japan
Yeah.
and
So Puerto
USA.
Rico, U.S., Japan, and Netherlands, right? That's how that
Yeah.
worked out.
Yep.
So from there, okay, yeah, Japan, USA championship game, kind of like you have it here, USA, Japan. I'm still
Yeah.
saying you have it. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey,
it's
if
it's just tough that they're come. I don't know, man. That's too. It's losing Dominican that early too just feels slight. I don't Dominican or Puerto Rico for me, and it just feels like Dominican's a little bit better, but maybe not. Maybe
I think
not.
they're going to be two all or nothing teams. That's the thing. They're built on power,
Yeah.
flash, and flair. So, you know,
All right. What do you expect in this championship game in Miami, Florida, March 21, between Japan and US?
oh, I think it's going to be a fight to the death. It's not going to be a high scoring affair. Um, well, I think Shohei's probably going to hit a couple balls out of the park, but then he's going to go on the mound and throw 100. So you got him for a couple, and then
Just an average day in the neighborhood. Yeah.
so. And I don't know how many guys I'm trying to think on Team USA that would have faced Shohei. Um, I'm trying to look back here. Obviously Mike Trout they're probably best buds. Mookie Betts would face him a little bit. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna be rough. Like Kyle Schwarber probably hasn't. Maybe he's faced Shohei once.
Yeah. Some of the NL guys and AL guys.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just
yeah,
and like you had mentioned how, they get so much publicity. MLB gets actually a lot of publicity in Japan, but how much do some of the U.S. guys watch Japanese NPBF like pitching? Like it's not very common over here. I don't get to see Yamamoto pitch every single week, So is that going to be
Yeah.
something that's going to affect them? They don't get as much scouting report on it. Where's Mark DeRosa going to have them ready to hey watch some of this Japanese baseball, right? I mean, that's the concern is us gets so much publicity across the world with professional baseball. It's like is that something we don't have access to, and is that why Japan might have an edge?
Well, I think that's the amazing thing too is the baseball, and I feel like Korea and Japan is similar played. US it's played different, and then you've got Puerto Rico and Dominican and Venezuela that play it again in a different way, and probably Mexico you can lump in there too. So we've got 3, 4 different brands of baseball that are all going to be played, and yeah, who's going to have the scouting report on who? Because it's going to be interesting. Everybody knows the USA is out to out to be on top, but Japan's going to give them a run, and obviously Puerto Rico and the Dominican are gonna do it as well.
Well, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough game, but I think obviously go root team USA, go back to back. That'd be sweet. Um, you know, show them why we're the greatest country despite our politics.
I'm looking forward to when Dominican and Puerto Rico play in Miami, and it's just going to be like you're in another country, like just wild. That's going to be a totally different brand of baseball that you would see in the Caribbean, and I think that's going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be a lot of hits, a lot of home runs, a lot of bat flips, a lot of jawing. Uh, we don't have Bufuzelas here for baseball, but that kind of crowd.
It'll be exciting just to have baseball like back like this. Um, even before the regular season kicks off. So it'll just be a nice get a pump up for the start of the season. During an interesting spring training where people are adjusting to the new rules. Um, but yeah, you get to have fun watching Team USA in Phoenix come early mid March. So that'll be fun.
Next week already.
Is that it's happened? I know our time is moving too
Yeah,
fast.
they play Great Britain, I believe, already on Saturday, and then they play Canada and Mexico. I forget which one's Sunday and which one's Monday, but I opted out to not see the Great Britain game just because
Want to
they're
watch them beat up Great Britain?
yeah, it'd be fun, but at the same time, I'd rather watch a little bit better brand of baseball there, and maybe we'll go catch the Cubs for
So you are doing the Mexico at 10 p.m.
10 p.m. here.
That's like seven. It's no, they're Mountain West time. So what is it, 8 p.m. there?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, I think it depends. They don't observe daylight savings.
They don't. They're just like it doesn't exist if I don't want it to.
Not in Arizona.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, US is playing some late games. I think, yeah, Great Britain's like 9 p.m. on Fox. And then FS1 is going to have the Mexico game at 10 p.m. So I guess I'm staying up late.
Yeah, it's
Why
just your
not?
schedule for baseball. It only happens, hasn't happened since 2017. So it's been 6 years. It's about time, right?
Yeah, it's worth it. I'm a grown man now, 6 years, so I can afford to stay up a little later. But yeah, man, thanks for coming and doing this show, this preview with me. I've never done a WBC preview, and now I want to do them more because just the nostalgia and like going through some of the names that like I haven't even heard of. Because how often do I sit and look at double A rosters for some of these teams? But yeah, it was a good time. It's always good having you on. Again, congratulations, working at Blue House, and feel free to come on anytime and brag about your business. Love to help it grow in any capacity that I can. Um, you're a good dude, and I look forward to having you on again for the MLB preview coming up in a couple of weeks, probably. So,
Well, thank you. Yeah, I always enjoy coming on, and I appreciate your support as well. Things have definitely changed in the market. It's getting interesting again, and now it's starting to shift back towards a year ago. We're seeing multiple offers again, and things are moving a little quicker. Spring's here, so
Good, because I'll probably be hitting you up sometime in the next year and a half or so. I'm trying to move south a little bit.
we can
Not
make that
Florida
happen.
South, not Florida South, but like Byron Center South.
Byron Center South.
It's
We can make
expensive. Keep it low for me. All right. I mean,
all right.
all right, man. We'll take care. We'll see you later.
All right, thanks, Joel.